Here it is, the one you've been waiting for, the very first of our Road to Cheltenham series, a 2023-24 campaign. We're starting a little bit earlier than usual, but I think it's only rightly so on the back of what we saw this weekend at Presby Park. Frankie, you were there on a Sunday. Joel, we were watching on the box. I'll start with you, Frankie. What a brilliant weekend it was. So many star performances. The Irish over winning again. It sets us up nicely, doesn't it, for this build-up to the festival?
It does, yeah. It doesn't really. I wouldn't say it feels like we're starting early because we've seen fair few of the big guns. We've seen some previous festival winners out already. We had a really good weekend, all 3 days of racing at Cheltenham. So it is November, but I feel like we've got plenty to talk about in regards to March.
You are the Joel. You are the bumper king. Any joy with the bumpers this weekend?
Yeah, we had another bumper winner from Ollie Greenall and your man Eddie Guerrero, whatever he's called, from WBA, who passed out. Yeah. So I was just getting on the train to go to Manchester to watch the boxing on Saturday night. Totally forgot all about it. I backed it in the morning. I think at 4-1 or something like that. Just got the tip in from my bumpety bump man. And then Matt phones me up going, did it get there? Did it get there? What get there? Like a panic, like someone stole your children or something. I'm like, I've no idea. I'm just getting on train now in Cheshire to go into Manchester. And he went, no, come down inside. And it drifted like a barge. And, he's got it. He's got it. But yeah, we had a few quid on that. Best odds guaranteed. So I think it came back 7-1 or something like that. So very, very good.
Is that what I sounded like? Was it?
Yeah, it was like, I've got your kids. Give me all your money now.
You can have the kids if it gives me a win at any time of the day. This is the start of the show. Obviously, we are on YouTube. We're going to be on Spotify as well, so you can listen to us whenever, every single Monday now in the build up to the festival. Starting today, as I say, with Cheltenham just behind us. But what a run of events we've got coming up, of course. We've got the Betfair Chase this weekend. We've got Newbury, the Coral Gold Cup, the John Durkin Chase. As well. Then, of course, we look at the Tingle Creek. We'll mention John Bond shortly, building up to the busy Christmas period. So we thought, you know what? Sod it. Let's get stuck in to our Road to Cheltenham series. The first place we're going to go is the championship races. We'll talk more about the Gold Cup again. We'll have to next Monday on the back of what happens at Haydock. But right now, we haven't seen Galopin des Champs, but we have seen Jerry Colombe, the big talking horse, Frankie, who looked beaten at Down Royal, but he looks all about stamina, and that's going to suit him well come the Gold Cup in March.
Yeah, I mean, he had to be tough to win, didn't he? But I'm not sure I'm getting overexcited by that performance. I suppose you can mark it up a bit because Envoy Allen performs well at the track, and he's managed to somehow reel them back in and win. And as you said, it was all about stamina. But for some reason, when I start thinking about the Gold Cup, I can't yet, even off the back of that, put Jerry Colombe in the same bracket as Galopin des Champs and even Brave Man's Game, who we'll speak about in a second. So at the moment, Jerry Colombe's your second favourite in the Gold Cup market. And I don't think we saw enough in that performance, if I'm honest. Manella Indo didn't turn up. Envoy Allen is not a Gold Cup potential horse in my eyes. And Conflated, again, has been beaten by the likes of, your Galopin des Champs and your Brave Man's Game. So it was decent. He was tough. But the field wasn't strong enough to get overexcited and have him second fab anyway for me.
Okay, Joel, we'll leave Galopin des Champs for now, but Jerry Colombe has won. Brave Man's Game was beaten. Jerry Colombe 9-2 for the Gold Cup. We'll see Brave Man's Game this weekend at Haydock. Would you be a player at 9-2?
If Jerry Colombe was English, British, this would be. This is the good thing. This is the good thing that's going to be Galopin des Champs because it's Irish and it's obviously top class and should be unbeaten apart from that brilliant ride on the Real Wacker at Cheltenham last year. I've watched that back about 25 times, and I think you said, Matt, all about stamina. We put Alan up at 6-1 was the outside of the field, outside of the 4, and got backed into second favourite. I still don't know how Jerry Colombe pulled it out the fire. It's pure talent. It got stopped in its run a couple of times. We haven't seen Galopin des Champs yet, but I think for me, if the race was being run today, tomorrow, I think there's only one winner of that. But it's an exciting one for the future, but it's not for me at 9-2.
Sure enough, 9-2. Just quickly then, Frankie, you did want to mention the Brave Man's Game.
I did want to mention him, did you say? Yeah, I mean, he's been pushed out of being beat at Wetherby. I wouldn't be. He's reasonably priced. I think he's double figure price. And you look at the Gold Cup market and Galloping de Champs and Brave Man's Game, even if you look at last year's race, went clear of the rest of the field. He was beaten by a fitter horse at Wetherby. He didn't jump the last very well. I think he's the best of the British for sure. And, we're talking about the best of the Irish bar, Galloping de Champs maybe, and Jerry Colombe. Even if you're looking towards the King George, I'll be backing him for that. And, if you can get a double figure price going towards a festival, he'll go there again and with every chance. So I think the market, as I suppose it should, Jerry Colombe's won, so it's going to shorten, and Brave Man's Game's been beat, so it's going to lengthen. But we're miles away from the festival, and there's a lot of time to get horses right into their A game. And I think Brave Man's Game is now overpriced, maybe an overreaction being beat at Wetherby.
Let's do the boring one, the Champion Hurdle then. Constitution Hill obviously is the horse that we all want to see, and he's not going over fences. He's 2-5 favourite, but now's the time to talk about it, because this Sunday we've got the Morgiana over in Ireland, then we've got a Constitution Hill in the fighting fifth. So if there is anything in there with the remotest chance of challenging him, Joel, now could be the time to get in a position to back him with those two big trials upcoming.
I genuinely don't think so. It's really boring, like you sent over the notes, the running order today, and it was a case of not written anything for this. It just remains unbeaten this year. The only thing that's going to beat him is Nicky pulling him out. When Lydia says to him, "It's soft ground, heavy." It's soft ground, heavy. It's heavy. Well, the time suggests it's soft, Nicky, heavy. It's that good thing, but I really want to see Constitution Hill come to Cheltenham and win by 22 lengths. Previous year, I don't want just a Bob Brown, because it's boring. It's boring. The racing fans will be, excited about it because you're seeing it in real life. But I think if you're taking, your other Alpha Mate or something like that, you go, right, it's not an exciting proposition to be, betting on the race. So if you want new people in the game, but there's nothing else out there that I have seen so far as of yet. And as soon as I say something's bomb-proof, it normally isn't, and blows up in your face. But I don't know if you can add to anything to that, Frankie. I just see him going unbeaten again this season with maybe 2 runs and then straight to Cheltenham.
Yeah, only thing that beats him is him not going, isn't it? Really, or falling at a hurdle. He's different class. Like State Man's a seriously good horse and was consistently beating every other good horse in Ireland, and Constitution Hill made a mockery of that Champion Hurdle. So State Man's, there's zero chance of that form ever being reversed, in my opinion. Imperi Pass was really, really good in the Ballymore, but Constitution Hill is just on another planet. I don't think there's any horse that's anywhere near him. So I can't see anything beating him, bar himself, for as long as he's racing, in my opinion.
And we've got to have one, haven't we?
Yeah, I was about to say, In Mare and Pass is obviously the one that hasn't taken him on, and Willie will know where he stands regards State Man. But if there was one, the Great Wood yesterday sometimes can throw up a Champion Hurdle. I'm not going to say it is, because obviously it's in Nick Anderson's stable. But if it was anybody else, could you see Iberico Lord developing into a potential Champion Hurdle horse, not to the level of Constitution Hill, but something to play for the places?
Nah,
yeah, Frankie put it up yesterday. Frankie put it up yesterday, and it was a really good performance. But come on, what are we talking here? In all seriousness.
And wasn't it off for like 136 or something like that? It was. I can't see it.
It was. But he's lightly raced. He is lightly raced. It was a good starting point. The right horse is in behind. I'm just saying, in a really weak division outside of maybe the top 2, something's going to go there. And if it wasn't with Nicky, and it's JP McManus, he'll always throw something into the ring. I just thought, when I saw the performance, I thought he maybe won.
I suppose if you're, no, I suppose you've got an angle if about 5 come out of the race because they don't want to face Constitution Hill, and they say, oh well, let's go there, and you've managed to back Iberico Lord at a wild price early on. So yeah, I think playing for places is as much about finding out which horses are actually willing to go to the Champion Hurdle behind Constitution Hill, because like if you can find another race for some of these, especially like Imperi Pass we mentioned, go have a crack at the stayers maybe. Why would really run State Man and Imperi Pass and potentially Lossy Mouth and maybe Vauban? Where do all these horses go? He can't just have the 2, 3, 4, 5 in the Champion Hurdle. So you've got to find out which ones you think are going to go, and if any others have a chance elsewhere, surely he'll send a few elsewhere. I think Imperi Pass is a great shout for the stayers, but we'll wait and see.
What price does Constitution Hill go on at Cheltenham? What price?
1 to 4, 5. I wonder what the shortest price ever in Cheltenham history is. Arkle or
Yeah, it
someone's
would
got
be,
me.
wouldn't it? That's
Yeah,
something you can look up and tell us next week. That's
bit
your
homework.
homework for this week. Right, Champion Chase, we had a massive clue this weekend. I know Joel was talking about John Bond for the Ryanair, but surely he stays over 2 miles after that yesterday. And it wasn't the fact he only beat 3 rivals. I think it was what Harry Skelton said on ITV afterwards about he's never been round there quick on that ground. Nubin Negri was on, who'd won that race twice, but he looked really, really good. And he looks to have grown up again. And it was his first win at Cheltenham, Frankie.
Yeah, I agree. What Harry Skelton said gets you a little bit more excited, doesn't it? But do we get carried away? Do we do this all the time when we see the English horses against other English horses, and a good thing like John Bond puts, however many lengths between himself and the rest of the field against what is arguably, I know Eberstone has won an Arkle, but hasn't really done loads since winning at Sandown last year, was it? Or he's been a bit hot and cold. Either way, we see these horses in England exclusively until the Irish Army comes over and makes us look silly. And are we going to make that mistake again? I don't know. I definitely think that John Bond, if you'd asked me at the end of last season, I think John Bond had more growing up to do than Al Fabiolo. And would probably be typical of both trainers as well. Nick Henderson would probably, take his time a little bit more than Willie Mullins might with a horse. So as time goes on, could John Bond close that gap? I think there's definitely an argument to be made there. But I just thought about all of this until I went and watched the race back from the festival last year. And Al Fabiolo just looked like a monster. It's a huge horse. The way he just snuck up the inside, was travelling so well and finished so powerfully. You do start to scratch your head and think, can that gap actually be closed? So it was exciting, but we did only see John Bond against British opposition. And there is still a very, very good horse in Al Fabiolo over in Ireland. And provided he comes out and does something similar on his first start this season, don't think you'd be reversing that form.
Yeah, first start is imminent as well, isn't it? So, Joel, I was saying to you, even when he held Fabiolo, John Bond got 5 lengths to find. He's at 5 to 2. But since they met, he's been out. He's won 3 times very nicely, very easily. Al Fabiolo won just the one since at Punchestown. So I think John Bond's grown up. Can he close that 5.5 length gap? Can he overtake Al Fabiolo when it comes to the Champion Chase?
It's one of the great races again this year at the festival. You speak to anybody at the other side of the water, and they will say, you're having a laugh. John Bond, to beat Al Fabiolo. You're having a laugh. I'll take your best. It is very much like that. There were a couple of things that I looked at the weekend was if that is as good as Edwardstone is and ran at his best, then John Bond has improved a hell of a lot. Or is Edwardstone regressing? Tom Cannon didn't knock him about, Edwardstone. He only got to it after the last, I think, and it wasn't like the most vigorous ride. I think he knew he was pretty much holding on to nothing. So you've got to look at that. Also, I thought Nico gave him a phenomenal ride, and Aidan Coleman is one of my favourite jockeys, who's on the sidelines at the minute. So I don't know if he was trying to nick that ride, because for whatever reason. But you look at that chase market, and some people may look and go, right, okay, what finishes third in this if there's a few runners? And you look at Edwardstone, the price is quoted him up to 40 to 1 for Edwardstone. I've been all with Edwardstone. I fell off the train. I was back on at the weekend, purely a price play. I think John Bond has grown up, but I think to find 5 lengths, I think he might find 4. And probably needs another leg, let's be honest. I think it's El Fabiola that actually breaks me. It breaks me because we've got to get a couple over the Irish again this year.
We have. I'm just going to throw another one into the mix. You mentioned what's going to come third. At the minute, 20 to 1, 4 to 1 a place. Captain Guinness, he was second to them all last season. He came back. He looked as good as ever when winning the 4-3 on Saturday. I mean, surely there's worse each way bets than that at 20s, Frankie.
Yeah, for sure. And would be pretty sure that that's where he's going to go. Again, it's trying to find out which will run behind. Because I think a lot of people, and as we'll all talk about, we'll just call it a 2-horse race. John Bond, Al Fabiolo rematch. But something does have to come third. And some horses might not get there. And some things can happen in running as well. So to find a horse like Captain Guinness who's pretty consistent and is decent, 20 to 1's not a bad anti-post play.
I mean, obviously, like say, he's going to turn up, but so the other two. That was.
I just don't know if I'd be getting carried away to back him. I don't know if his price is going to shorten, is it? So I don't know if
Exactly. Yeah,
not
there is
necessarily
that.
getting a steal backing it in November, but well, yeah, want to keep an eye on as things get closer.
Any opinion on the Stayers hurdle? I'll start with you, Joel. We haven't seen many yet. We saw Bob Ollinger beat Zanna here. We saw something win the other day. Irish Point win it down Royal, but we haven't really seen much in terms of Stayers. It's actually a French horse, Velim or Thelemi, however you say it, that's actually heading the betting right now.
Yeah, was it Tuleme?
Thelemi?
Whatever. Yeah, that's around, was it 6 to 1 or something like that? It was 11 to 2. Is that Mari's Rock? Would Mari's Rock go here? Or as some people call it, Marie's Rock? Mari's Rock was 14s. I don't know if it'd go here. And the other one, Tiapu. But again, short at this time of the year. This was one that you were on, Matt, last year. You kept talking up this horse. Of course, we don't know where everything's going to go, and I don't know a lot about the French horse. And hands up in the air. I haven't really massively got into the Stayers hurdle at this point because it was filed in the very difficult at this stage. But I'm looking for something to shorten. Obviously, I'm looking for something that's going to run in this race. And the only two that I looked at was Mari's Rock at 14s and Tiapu around 6 to 1 or something like that. But it wouldn't be one at this time that I've looked at massively and gone, I've got some really big clues on this.
No, we'll have the long distance hurdle come at Newbury in a couple of weeks' time. That'll make it maybe a little bit clearer. Well, Frankie, you did mention Impere Pass. I imagine he's going champion, or have you heard something else?
No, I haven't heard anything. I would just like him to go here. I don't see the point in him running behind Constitution Hill in the champion. He was really, really good, wasn't he, when he won at the festival last year? He's got to be one of the most exciting young horses to come out of last year. But you step a young horse into the champion hurdle division and you are running behind Constitution Hill. So it's an owner-trainer choice, isn't it? It's one of those. The reason I mentioned him is because the way that he travels and won the race, it's not just as if he was a good Ballymore winner and he can't race against Constitution Hill. So let's, nudge him into another race. I actually think he looked like he could be a good staying hurdler because he travelled really, really well. He finished his race really strongly over 2.5. There's nothing to suggest that he wouldn't get 3 miles. So I'm not trying to push him here because he can't go to the champion. I think he actually would run well over further. So I'd like to see him here, but who knows? Tiahupu has got to have a good chance, especially after how annoyed Davy Russell was after the Stayers last year as all of that was going on. But he's quite short at 6s. And then if you want the boring numbers on the French horse, he has already ran to an RPR of a couple higher than Sire de Belay's rating, winning the Stayers last year. Ran to 168 over 3 miles over in France, and the Stayers last year was won at 164. So if you like, or you trust your Racing Post numbers, then they've got them rated pretty highly. But yeah, it's very hard to judge that French form, isn't it? So we'll see how it unfolds, but nothing to get carried away with backing at this stage.
And it's just a 5-year-old as well, isn't he? So that's a championship race done very briefly at this very early stage, but of course they will develop over the coming weeks and certainly over the Christmas period. So don't forget, like, subscribe on this channel. We'll notify you whenever a new Road to Cheltenham episode is available, and so you can hear us and take us wherever you go on Spotify right now as well. Let's just review what we saw at the weekend with regards to some more Cheltenham contests. I'll talk about the Ryanair chase and Stage Stars win in the Paddy Power Gold Cup despite that last fence blunder. I'll start with you, Joel. Made all, and it's some effort on the back of that last to get himself up in momentum, but also it's the same form of the Turners. Not long till May in second, unexpected party in fifth. Not off levels, though. This time he's giving them weight and beating them further, suggesting he has improved plenty.
I joined the Stage Star Love Parade at the weekend, and Harry Cobden's your man at the minute, isn't he? I think a lot of jockeys would have fallen off at the last there. I backed a real whacker, and I was sitting watching it with my mate Rob, and he went, well, "Why don't you just go to Stage Stars? Prove to stay. Got this." I thought he was giving a brilliant ride. It's a brilliant horse. You saw Nichols so excited as well at the weekend. Talk about improvement. Stays all day. Apart from the last, jumped beautifully. that for me. I mean, there was a lot of talk about Gold Cup, Ryanair, Gold Cup. I think you've got to go Ryanair, haven't you? You've got to go Ryanair. It was about 5-2 or something like that. If it was my horse, you've got to have a little pop at the Gold Cup, haven't you? If money's no object. But I was mightily impressed at the weekend from trainer, horse, and jockey, and so much so that I bought myself. And it's not for podcast listeners. I bought myself a little Paul Nicholls handbag for Haydock this weekend. He likes to have the old handbag on there just to show solidarity.
Keep his cash in, or his binoculars, more to the point. 7-2 Stage Star, 3-1 Alho. We've seen them both, Frankie. At the prices, who would you back off for their reappearances?
Oh, I don't know. It's tricky, isn't it? Allaho's not as old as you think. I need to get this right. I think he's 9 years old. Just having a look. But he's been the good thing, hasn't he? Like what he was in the Ryanair last year. That was the one bet that everyone could chuck in an acca and you'd be pretty sure about. He also won the year before at about 3-1. We haven't seen him, obviously, but I thought he was older. I'm just getting up. Yeah, he's 9. You don't necessarily decline, especially as a staying chaser, as a 9-year-old. So I don't know if you can argue that it's the turning of the tides. The slightly younger Stage Star as a 7-year-old going to come and take the old boy. I don't know if he is an old boy yet. I think you need another run out of Allaho to make your judgment. But Stage Star was very impressive. As you said, he gave weight away. He finished strongly after blundering. Nicholls was very excited by it. Cobden said he don't think he would have come off the bridle if he hadn't made a mistake at the last. So he does definitely deserve his shot at the Ryanair, and he clearly loves going left-handed round Cheltenham. So there's a hell of a lot of boxes ticked for Stage Star. And Nicholls has said that he's going to work back from the Ryanair, and if he can't find a race, then he won't force him into one, and he will just go straight to the Ryanair. So we know that he's fit. We know that he's got course and distance form. We know that he's improving. We know he's going there. This is going to sound insane, but you could back him each way at 7-2, and I actually don't think it would be the stupidest bet in the world because he, bar accident, will go there. And if he's out the top 3, then I don't know, something's gone terribly wrong because half of these horses might not go there, and some of them are really hot and cold in the Ryanair. He's got to be a cert to place in the Ryanair.
Especially the fragility of Allaho as well. He may not make it. Let's talk about the novices then. In terms of the Arkle, just quickly, we only really seen Facile Vega beat in the pocket. Both in the pocket 10-1, Facile Vega 3-1 for the Arkle. They didn't have much pace. There's a couple of scrappy leads with Facile Vega, but in the straight jaw, he proved his engine is still intact. He just pulled away from him.
Yeah, he looks impressive, like you say. It wasn't foot perfect. A few notes are made out of this race, to be fair. In the pocket, wasn't knocked around. I think it was a case of if you can win, go and win, but don't cut in the pocket and half, Rachel. You know what I mean? Just go for it. And I know this is a Road to Cheltenham, but with all the handicaps coming up and everything, did anybody notice the other JP horse in 4th? What's it? Something Tower, Spillard's Tower or something? Yeah.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Did I just see this, or did everybody see it? Because everybody's focused on Facile Vega now. It's all about making the money and trying to make your money. Did anybody else notice that was given a very, very easy time? No, it's never going to beat Facile Vega. Never going to beat Facile Vega. In those JP colours, I was like, right, here we are. I hope nobody else has noticed because they're all over Facile Vega here. But that was, do you know what? The race hadn't finished yet. That was in the notebook. That'll win massive. Yeah. I don't know what it is, but it'll win something. So that's straight in the tracker. But going back to Facile Vega, being the Road to Cheltenham, brush up his jumping a little bit, and everything will happen. Again, it's a race. You wouldn't be. There's nothing in there so far that we can tick a lot of boxes to. But you couldn't really ask for a lot more. Cecil Davey looked fine to me. Looked great engine on the running, as you said.
Yeah, it's Blaze Terriers funny. It did caught my eye as well. A bit like Icar LN at Ancient of the Week. Qualify. Another one that's already gone in there. We know those famous Silks like handicap winners of the festival, but it's a long way to go there. Frankie, Facile Vega, what did you make of him?
Wasn't getting overly excited by it. In the pocket was 4th in the Supreme and about 3 or 4 lengths off Facile Vega, I think. And Facile Vega did finish the race easier, but I I don't think that you'd say that he ran miles better than in the pocket did. I don't think his jumping was that impressive. He was kicking his back legs out at a few and a little bit messy. Your boy Matt, we're waiting to see how he takes to a fence. Marine National, I don't know. I wasn't getting carried away.
There was news, wasn't it? We don't know when he's going to make his debut. He's not going to make it on heavy ground, so it may even be after Christmas when we see Marine National. But I will be meeting him with bated breath. Just going to talk about a couple of other novices. We'll lump these in all the same bracket because I'm not sure whether they go Turners or the Broadway. Florian Porter, who we saw at the October meeting, his form was franked by Broadway Boy this weekend. And also Stay Away Faye, a little beat but ground out at Exeter. I mean, he may even think about the national lunch chase with him. What about those three? Anything else in the novice chase division we've seen, Frankie?
Credit to Joel, who managed to tip Broadway Boy, which at the time I thought no chance because Florian Porter was absolutely on the snaff. And I thought whatever's in behind, I'm not going to take that as 2 lengths off Florian Porter because Florian Porter could have gone another 10, 20 clear. But Broadway Boy has been pretty hard at work to get close to a motionless Florian Porter or thing on board, and then has gone and won. So that's a pretty good performance as well. So out of those, Stay Away Fair I couldn't back, and Florian Porter form franked. 11's not bad either.
Joel, any opinions?
I was really impressed with Stay Away Faye. I think at 2 outs. Listen off. I'm seeing it. Pink colours coming up on the left-hand side of the TV. Let's have a little jig around here. And then stayed on. And I'm like, whoa, that really, really impressed me. So the opposite of Frankie, I was really impressed.
Is there any other novice chasers I say that really stood out to you yet, Joel?
No. I did, coming to me and having a look. No.
Back to file was beat, wasn't he?
Yeah, oh yes. That's
American Mike.
American Mike.
What a strange horse. What a strange horse American Mike's been. Like, I mean, if you backed him on Sunday, well done, because I don't think anyone's ever been able to get that horse right and know what he's going to do, because he looked so promising, didn't he, early on, and just hasn't been, but has thrown in a win, I think, once along the way, and then comes and wins on chase debut, being Fact File, who obviously has come from a bumper, but it's all a bit of a muddle, that horse. It would be fascinating if he now goes on over fences and starts to kind of pick up that early promise.
He's a funny one in the sense of he was all the rage and everyone was talking about him, and then he kind of like, when he got beat, everyone's forgotten about him. Yeah. But he turns up and does that on Sunday, so it was a good weekend.
Yeah, well, second to Facile Vega in the bumper, if you want to go back that far. They both won at the weekend. Is that the 2 novice chasers to follow? American Mike and Facile Vega?
This is normally your bag, this Matt. You get stuck in. Last year, to be fair, Barry Collin was telling everybody the Marine National would win, right? And actually doesn't need a run at all. We'll probably just go straight to Cheltenham now anyway. You know what I mean?
Debut over fences in the Arkle.
Yeah. You were completely, taken in by this, and I'm going, oh, get off, it needs to run, whatever. And he was so confident. Different story this year. What's your supreme novice? I thought you'd be like a Ballyburn sort of lad, or Predator's Gold or something.
What do we make of Burdett Road that just class at everything?
That's my next point. That is my next point. Now, this is an interesting one because, when horses change your opinions, a bit like we were talking about Stage Star earlier, I couldn't have him on Saturday, Burdett Road. I watched him win at Huntingdon. He's lit up like a Christmas tree, keen as anything, kicked all the hurdles out the ground, soft ground, stiff track. But if he pulls like that, he's got no chance of getting home. Cobden settles him out the back beautifully. Okay, jumping still needs to be polished up a little bit, but he was absolutely swinging. Coming to 2 out, he's still 10, 12 lengths behind, but he knew exactly what he had, Harry Cobden. That's the style of a very good horse. Look, 7-1 for the Triumph is short. I imagine he's been on the go a long time. He's a Royal Ascot winner. Not many have gone Royal Ascot to Cheltenham. A few have gone the other way around. But I think, I think he's definitely the right favourite right now on what he showed at the weekend. I imagine
I flicked it on.
Put him away and then bring him back in the spring now.
Yeah, I flicked. I didn't watch the race live, but you can just get the what do they call it? I don't know, final. I don't think it's the final furlong, is it? When you watch a race back, but the end of the race anyway. Closing stages. That's the one I'm looking for. The closing stages. Flick that on, Oh my God, I've never seen a horse look like it's eating up ground as much as he was going up the hill at Cheltenham. So after that, I had to click on and watch the whole thing. I thought, Jesus Christ, this looks good. So, I mean, before that, he clattered every single hurdle, like you said, or the majority of them, and had the benefit of actually of a few horses in front knocking them half down so he could just step over them. So jumping was pretty poor and has to improve. But the way that he finished the race was incredible visually. However, Cheltenham posted a little infographic, and I just cannot understand how he's not made it onto this list. The top, I suppose he got going a little bit later than a furlong out, didn't he? But the top 6 fastest finishes in the final furlong from the October and November, Encanto Bruno tops the list. Breach and Castle, the bumper winner yesterday, second, and then Mal Monroe and Tagman are both on there who ran behind Encanto Bruno. So that was clearly a quick race. But I thought, how the hell is Burdett Road not made it on today? It seems to be flying up the hill.
Well, to be fair, the time was slow. I think it was 25 seconds slower than normal because the ad had rain. So maybe that is because maybe a visually impressive speeding through with the time. So it wasn't the quickest, but it is an interesting.
Supposing if they're slowing down in front of him as well, he obviously came from off the pace, didn't he? But
Joel, what did you make of it? I mean, visually, very impressive.
Yeah, very impressive. It was like Timmy Murphy was back, wasn't it? Or Paul Carberry. It was. I love watching that, and I was really impressed. And again, you said about horses changing your mind. I couldn't have had him. It was stolen money. Speaking of flying up the hill, that Melina girl yesterday. Did you see that fly up the hill? Yesterday,
He's on fire, isn't he?
Oh, he's on fire, and I'm watching this going. I'm expecting this horse to be knackered, and it was like it had just joined in. Racing cliche. Really impressed there yesterday. But some horses do change your mind. 7-1 a bit short for Triumph Hurdle, but it's not a Harry Cobden loving this week, but it is. When a jock knows exactly what he's got under him, what he's got left.
Yeah,
because
he's been. He's been pretty active on socials about it as well. I picked up on that. When jockeys get excited about certain horses, they're a bit more keen to retweet or to post about it. And he's been making a bit of noise about it as well. He's clearly excited to ride it in the Triumph.
Yeah, it should be good. It'll be a good ride. Good ride. I shouldn't have put him away because he has been on the go a long time, flat during the winter, during the summer, and straight 2 wins over hurdles. Right, before we say cheerio, anything else we've seen so far this season? Breaking news. Anything else that we've seen so far this season, Frankie? I know you've been on course quite a lot. Anything that's picked your ears up and gone, keep an eye on him? We've pretty much covered everything.
Yeah, I think we've covered everything festival-wise. Encanto Bruno, who I just mentioned, because he's in the front of my mind because he's at the top of that speed list, but he was really, really impressive. And although he's poor in the bumper, and pretty much everything else in that bumper has held good form, so it was a strong bumper last year. He was well backed for it and underperformed, but then has kind of shown that the reason why he was well backed and talked about early on in his career. So I think he's quite an exciting young horse. I have no idea how they're going to map his season out there, but I'll definitely be keeping an eye on wherever he does pop up next. And talking to Graham Cromwell, I feel like we've almost missed the boat a bit. I think next year in October and November, anything that he gets sent over is going to go off really short, isn't it? Because he seemed to have campaigned horses so well for October and November, and there's plenty of horses that have come here in nice handicaps off a nice mark, and they've won really well. So I feel like we might have missed the boat in backing him because he'll probably come and do the same next year, but they'll go off really short.
Canterbury's gone from McConnell to Cromwell, hasn't he? Because John McConnell's horses, I think he's had a really poor recent striker. But Gavin Cromwell's winning with everything that he settles.
Yeah.
Joel, anything else that's caught your eye that we haven't mentioned that's really impressed you, apart from obviously your bumper winner?
No, apart from 3 out of 3 from bumpers this year. Sam Thomas's face said it all. Angel's breath. I said it wouldn't stay. Didn't stay. Didn't. And also, I don't think he was too happy with Jock. I think Johnny Burke wrote it. But Sam Twiston Davis should have been. Real whacker. Just didn't stay. What's? I was trying to find it.
Pulled up rain.
Right. Okay. Doesn't get you paid out, but at least we've got an excuse for that one. I'm looking forward to Chase at Haydock this weekend. I'll be there on Saturday. The questions I want to ask now is Aplutar done? What we doing? Entered for it? Is it going to go?
Yes, is he?
No, he's
Is
not.
Ensign?
No, there's only 6
No.
in it. No,
Right,
no,
so you
he's
got
not.
that.
Imagine John Durkin for him if we do see him again.
Okay.
Just let me just pick up, because this is a talking point before we do actually sign off. There's a talking point that's just obviously come really said in the recent hours is Daryl Jacob riding Brave Man's game. I know Harry Cobden's got a really good book of rides at Ascot and he'll be back on him, but I just find it was all giving up potentially, not giving up, but your Gold Cup horse, not riding him in every single race, going to Ascot, where he has got obviously probably a fuller book of rides, but for a couple of Grade 2 runners, Pic de Ré, wouldn't be in the same stratosphere as Brave Man's game, you'd imagine, either they're both the King George. What do you make of that? Daryl Jacob coming in for the ride, Harry Cobden not riding a horse he rode second in the Cheltenham Gold Cup to go and ride at Ascot.
I love. I just say straight away, I love Daryl Jacob as a person, as a jock.
Top lad,
he's an absolute top lad. His documentary is as sad as ever, and I will get you jumping out your seat, trying to get the tissues. I love him as a jockey. I think he's stylish. He's got everything. But if I'm sitting here now, I don't know if Brave Man's game would run on, because they keep saying if he runs. I heard Daryl Jacob being interviewed this morning, and everything was if he runs this weekend, if he does this. I'm really happy to be on the ride if he takes the ride. So I think everything that Cobden's got the weekend, he's got a decent book of ride at Ascot, so he's gonna ride everything as opposed to just come up for one potential non-runner. But the man to ask is Frankie, because he was setting on the by the pool with Sir Alex Ferguson and Jed Mason in the Budgie Smugglers, talking about Protectorat. So you've got the insides. You've got the inside.
Well, it wasn't news at the time. We were talking about protector crap and soft man's game was what Jed was telling me. Him and Nichols have a laugh, giving each other stick about. But there was no talk of who was going to ride him. I don't know. I just flicked on the Jockeys Championship. Cobden's 32 behind Shaw and Bowen. That's quite a sizable gap to close. It's not impossible. But could Cobden be having a crack at that? I mean, he had a great season last year, didn't he? And I think it's probably something that he'd like to do. And they've got a real strong team. And if him and Paul have had that chat together, and that's partly in mind, then why not? It's something to kind of sway him in favour of Ascot, isn't it? And he does have a good book of rides. So given that he's got a good book and he can close that gap, and maybe you could argue, things didn't necessarily go his way on Brave Man's game last time. Is it the worst thing in the world if Brave Man's game has another hit out? Cobden keeps his good strike rate going, keeps himself in form, and then picks him back up for the King George. So I don't think it's crazy, in my opinion. And Daryl Jacob is a man that's rode around Haydock and in plenty of Betfair chases and won them as well. So it's quite nice.
I believe Sco Royale is supposed to be running at Ascot as well as a horse that Daryl Jacob always rides. So it is a bit bizarre jockey merry-go-round. But no, we'll see. You say it's heavy ground, soft in places at Haydock right now. If it doesn't dry out, Brave Man's game will not go, because he said he will not run him on heavy ground. But we'll know more by Friday.
Matt. Sorry, Matt. Can I just say this is right? Recording Monday afternoon, coming up to 3 o'clock. Am I right in thinking Brave Man's game is joint favourite now at 6-4 with Protectorat?
Yes.
It's only five. It's only five I'm going. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow.
Back on both, Joe.
God, that 8-1 was looking gorgeous then this week. I didn't think it'd run. I honestly didn't think it'd run half an hour at Madoc and back gardens underwater here. So I didn't think it'd go. And so I was going to be all over Venetia's horse, Roll Per Guy. Yeah. Anyway, carry on.
It's supposed to be a dryish week, isn't it? But that'll just make it testing. I don't think it's drying out too much this time of year. Look, as I said, we'll know more by Friday when we look at the race in much more detail on our Punters Guide. This was our first Road to Cheltenham. I'm not going to ask the boys to put anything up just yet, but of course in the coming weeks we will have a look and try and pick out plenty of value for the Cheltenham Festival at bigger prices. Hopefully we become masters of it right now. So we'll start tipping up horses in a few weeks, but not right now. Obviously, we've got so much to look forward to. Haydock this weekend, as I mentioned, we've got the Buggy on Hill in Ireland, the John Durkin, Newbury to come as well, the Tingle Creek where we see Jump on. So exciting. The jump season is well and truly up and running. Okay, unless there is something that you really do fancy right now, Joel.
Shakira? No, that's all.
No,
Frankie,
not at
anything?
this
Is this in the
stage.
black book?
The
In the black
the
book, Joel?
the anti-book
Oh, the
book
anti-post.
is barren. I haven't had a bet anti-post. Haven't touched it. I think
Yeah,
my
'cause
angle.
Michael
I think for next week, my angle is going to be to really find something that I know is definitely going, has a great chance. Not going to care if it's short. I'm going to start having a fiver a week on something that I think will, and I'm not going to try and be smart and find a 33-1 lurking. I'm just going to go for something I think is rock solid, and I'm going to chip away at it week to week for a present to myself in March.
Potato race, stellar story. I've got it at 33-1. What price are you giving me now? 16s. We're beating the bookie already. Closely related to the storyteller. One of my favourites. I've got my fiver each way on that. 33-1. They told me it was going to stay as a bumper horse. So yeah, the potato race. That's the one that I've got in there. The big black book of doom. That's it.
He mentioned for the bumper, then he got declared over hurdles. Right,
Yeah.
that's the first Road to Cheltenham then in the can every single Monday. We'll review the weekend action as well, so we'll try and put up some anti-post bets for you in the future. Join us Friday as well for the Punters Gala. We're trying to put you some winners at Haydock and Ascot this weekend, and Joel will have another horse for a bumper. Fingers crossed. Make sure you join us then. See you soon.